Hey guys, welcome back to Over the Surface. We are on episode 7 today. That's crazy. Almost 2 full months of Over the Surface being back. I'm super excited. I'm already thinking about ways to spice it up, potential guests, extra things I can do on here. So that's really exciting. Happy Thursday. It's actually Thursday for me. I uploaded an episode of Over the Surface this morning, so it's for real Thursday for me too. So I feel like today's been a good day. I feel like anytime I go live with an episode, it feels productive. It feels good. It feels like all good is in the world. Also, if you see any pit stains, I'm so sorry. I've been wearing long sleeves a lot more recently just because the weather has cooled down in LA, so the fact that it's dropped maybe 5-10 degrees, I'm like, oh my goodness, let's do long sleeves, right? But I don't think about when I'm filming how, all these lights on me just make me sweat. I am naturally just a very sweaty person. There's no if, whats, or buts about that. And there's nothing really I can do about it. When I was I think I said this before, but when I was in Europe last year, I was changing my outfits about 4 different times a day. That's how much I was sweating through everything. So I'm a little bit of a sweaty Betty, but it's okay. So I'm sorry if you see anything under my armpits. Also, I wanted to make this a point. If you have a Whole Foods by you, go and get the frozen cinnamon rolls. I just ate one and I told myself, when you film, tell everyone about these cinnamon rolls. I found them on TikTok, where I find everything basically at this point in my life. I found them on TikTok. Someone bought them. They're in the freezer section at Whole Foods, and they're like the Whole Foods brand cinnamon rolls. And they're in a tray. They come with a massive container of icing, and they're a bit of a longer process than the ones that you just get in like the roll and you pop open, but they are phenomenal. You got to let them thaw for like an hour, and you got to let them bake for around 30-40 minutes, but it's so worth it. They're huge. And then I put a little bit of milk at the bottom of the tray so it gets a little moist. Chef's kiss. So if you have a Whole Foods by you, go and check it out. I told myself I need to tell them about this because it was just too good to gatekeep. I want everyone to experience the cinnamon rolls like me. All right, guys, let's get into this episode. I always start the episode with a blurb, quote, saying, poem, whatever I'm feeling for the week. And I found one on Tumblr again. If you didn't see that episode, I did always look up quotes. I always would be on Tumblr when I was younger just to find inspo with that stuff. Yeah, I was a little Tumblr girly, but I still do it here and there because I just love reading them. So anyways, I found one on there and I actually wrote some notes on it in my handy dandy notebook. I like it. It feels like a little like school homework assignment when I have to write down notes on it and reflect on it. I remember doing that in writing class a lot when I was in high school, so I kind of like it. Anyways, let's read it. So it's not really a poem. It's more of a little short paragraph, but I really loved it. So the person who wrote it is named Whitney Hansen. We love you, Whitney. Anyways, it goes like this. You've just come in from a rainstorm. You can't expect to be immediately dry, warm, and comfortable, but you can do the little things. Take off the heavy clothing, turn on the coffee pot, wrap yourself in a blanket, one small thing at a time. And then at the end, it says, healing is a process. I loved this. What are they called? Oh my goodness, I'm having a brain fart. What is it called? Analogy to healing and the process of healing. So let me show you my little notes that I got on it. Obviously, you're in a rainstorm and you come inside. You're not going to be dried right away. It's going to take a little bit to dry off and be okay again. And I love, how she stated, put the coffee on, wrap yourself up. Like, you're going to get there eventually. Kind of like take care of yourself, you know? So the first thing I put was sometimes when you come out of a hard moment in your life, it takes a second for things to fall back into place. You know, I feel like if you are going through a hard time and you're kind of seeing the end of that tunnel and you're getting out of it, expect to still work through it. I feel like a lot of people do get through hard times and they don't see results right away, or they ask themselves, why don't I feel better right away? And sometimes it doesn't happen. I think you have to just give yourself some grace that it's still going to take some time to feel better. Take care of yourself. Do the little things that make you happy. For instance, that cup of coffee, or put the pot of coffee on. Wrap yourself up in a blanket. Just relax. Do things that make you happy. Take it easy. Don't go and do anything crazy, spontaneous, insane. You know what I mean? Healing's a process. Slow and steady wins the race. I'm such a believer in that. What is the little race between the tortoise and the turtle? Is it the same thing? I don't know. Turtle and the fox. Is that what it is? And the fox like flies through, but I forgot what that thing is, what the story is behind that. But I think he was like trying to fly through and he kept going through too many obstacles. He kept getting lost or something. And then the turtle made it because he just took his time, was relaxed and chilled. I really do believe in that 1,000%. Some people jump the gun when healing, or try to at least, and then have to confront their feelings or issues in the future. I actually said this to a friend the other day. When it comes to breakups and stuff too, especially, I think when people go through breakups, they try to jump the gun, whether that's jumping into a new relationship pretty quickly, or they are just trying to go and do stuff that isn't going to make them feel good in the process of healing, to kind of suppress the feelings that you're having in the moment. And I feel like when you're not letting yourself feel those things, when you're not letting yourself actually heal, and you're suppressing all of that, you're going to have to confront all of it in the future, no matter what, whether that's a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I think allowing yourself to take that moment to heal now, as hard as it is, it's so much more worth it in the end. Might be hard, easier said than done, but it's worth taking your time to heal. Sometimes that storm might feel never ending, but just keep going. I actually said that to another friend, a different day, just talking advice, guys. I love talking to my friends about this stuff. Anyways, I did say this to a friend, how, me specifically, in my life, there's moments where I can feel really confused and lost and not understand why something is happening. And the best analogy I had for that was, if you're in a storm, right? Or you're in a crazy vortex and you don't know what direction you're going, you're just trying to keep it together. All you can do is just keep moving forward. Just keep walking through the storm. Even though you don't see the end of it yet, just keep going, because the end will come. The end of the storm will come. I think you just have to keep pursuing and pushing through it no matter what. And that's what I keep telling myself. So if you are in a storm right now, you don't know what direction to go, just keep going. It doesn't matter what direction you're going. You got to go forward, whatever direction that is. And if you are going the wrong way, you will be redirected to the right path, no matter what. So yeah, don't be too hard on yourself if you're feeling a little lost right now. And then at the end, I put, light at the end of the tunnel always exists. So you will always find light at the end of the tunnel. Even if it feels like it's never going to happen, you will find it. So yeah, it really stuck to me. I really loved the little quote. And I love writing notes about it. I feel like it makes it more efficient, and I'm not sitting here off the top of my head trying to riff, right? Which is the whole purpose of this podcast. But I'm trying to make my life a little easier, so I don't have to do that the whole time. All right. We're ready for this question. Oh, I'm ready for my wine. Okay, here we go. Quick, easy question. That's what I'm manifesting for myself today. quick, easy question. All right. Is this one? I think it's one. Yeah. Okay. Okay, here we go. What were your views/wants when you first moved to LA versus now? Okay, interesting. Well, first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is I can just kind of tell you guys my story a little bit. I feel like a lot of you guys know it already, but why I wanted to move out here, how I kind of got to where I'm at and where I'm at now, and I guess my views with LA. It is crazy. It is crazy to think where I was, almost 10 years ago when I moved to LA. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I moved to LA when I was 18 years old, and I guess my sole purpose of moving to LA was for change. So I'm from New Jersey, from a town called Bridgewater, New Jersey, and I was really tired of it there. I felt like, not that I outgrew it, because there was just so much more I could do, right? Work-wise, I was just out of high school. I could have gone to college. I could have done so many things out there, but I just felt like my time there was up. I felt like it just wasn't where I was supposed to be anymore. And LA became an idea because I came out here to visit a friend, and I just absolutely loved it. I think the biggest thing for me was I remember in high school, I think I've said this story before, but not that I would get made fun of a lot, but people would make comments about the way I dressed or about the way I did my makeup, and I hated it. I remember I used to wear like tight, ripped black jeans. I would wear winged eyeliner to school. I always liked being a little more different. I don't know. I remember starting to wear maxi dresses and maxi skirts, and people would always make a comment about it. And it just always rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm like, why does it matter what I wear or what I look like, right? So anyways, I started just not feeling great about where I lived, but I kind of thought, oh, everywhere is like this, right? So when I came to LA to visit for the first time, I think I was 17, and I met so many cool people out here, and I remember wearing the things that I love, and nobody said anything about them. I think I even got compliments on them. I got compliments about outfits. I got compliments on my eye makeup. And I just remember thinking, whether these people are telling me the truth or not, I just loved how I felt more accepted out here. I think everyone out here is a lot more open-minded, and that was just how I viewed LA when I was planning on moving out here, or when I did move out here. So yeah, I really, really loved that. I loved that I could be myself, and people accepted me for me. And I remember even telling people, I love doing makeup. I love doing hair. I love fashion, right? And when I would tell people that in New Jersey, it wasn't really reciprocated well. I think people looked at me like, okay, cool, but like, what are you going to do with your life? And, it was just kind of like, that's not a career. You can't really do that. It's not really worth pursuing that. So I think I just really loved how accepting everyone in LA was. And I think a big part of it was because everyone out here isn't from here. I feel like a lot of LA is people moving from different places to come here to do what they love, or to pursue a dream, or to chase something. And I think when you see everyone doing that, you just kind of accept them for who they are. When I think in Jersey, it was just a little more conservative, it was very, you go to school, you go to college, you get your job, and then, that's your life, which is majority of people, which is completely fine. It just wasn't for me, and I wanted to get out of there. So yeah, that was kind of my view when I first moved to LA. Right before moving to LA, I thought it was just such a place of acceptance and opportunity. But yeah, I mainly wanted to move out here for change. All I knew was I was going to go to community college. I had to find a job, and I was going to figure it out. I loved makeup. I loved fashion. When I first moved out here, I originally was like, okay, I'm going to go to school for business and hopefully end up in the fashion industry or in the beauty space business wise, like in the background, I guess. So that was always a dream of mine. I mean, working in this world, I guess, but more behind the scenes. I started going to school. I found a job. Guys, also, I just need you to know when I found my waitressing job out here in LA, I almost didn't make it. I remember giving this restaurant a paper application, being like, "Hey, if you need anyone, let me know." It was so hard to find a job out here, and they immediately hired me. And I remember thinking I had like $100 in my account at this point. I'd been out here for like a month. All my money was drained. LA is just so unbelievably expensive, and all my money was drained. I didn't know what I was gonna do, so I handed them my last resume, and they were like, "Can you start tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, great." So I finally was able to find a job that could sustain me, but it was barely anything. So I knew I wanted to go to school out here. I knew I needed to find a job. And I was going to Santa Monica Community College for a year or two. I was going part-time. It was hard to go full-time since I was trying to support myself. My mom and my dad also helped me with what they could at the time too. So that was where I was at when I first moved out here. I lived on a sofa. It was not fun. Lived on a sofa for 6 months, moved around a lot every 6 months to a year. And, you know, in the process of all of this, even before I moved to LA, that's when I met Kian and JC, my friends that do YouTube. And when I moved out here, I was always friends with them. And I kind of ended up just being around them a lot when they filmed. And I was going to move back home at some point after a year or two of being out here. I just couldn't handle it anymore. And they were like, you know, just live with us and we'll figure it out. And that's kind of how the YouTube thing started. I started doing beauty videos on there. They knew I loved makeup. So they're like, Franny, why don't you just do makeup? Why don't you just do makeup for YouTube? I mean, we're all doing YouTube. You might as well make content as well. So I was like, okay, sure. And that's kind of how it all started. But before that, before the whole YouTube thing came about, I was waitressing. I was a babysitter. I was a freelance makeup artist. Oh yeah, I finally dove into freelance makeup artistry in like 2017. And I was doing it for a while. It was helping me, you know, get by doing like freelance work. But I was doing so much, guys. I don't even know how I did any of it. I had like 3-4 jobs. I was trying to go to school. I was getting up at 5-6 in the morning to drive all the way to Santa Monica, come back, and do a million things. It was just crazy. I look back on that and I think, how did I even do that? I don't know how I managed to exist at that time. I don't know how my body handled it. I don't know how my mental capacity even could deal with that. I don't even know. I can't even imagine putting myself through that. But I think when you want something so badly, and all I knew was I didn't want to go back home. I wanted to be out here. I felt like my purpose was out here. And I just wanted to do everything that I could to stay out here. I did not want to go back home. So I think that that's the one thing that lit a fire up my ass was I didn't want to go home. So anyways, yeah. So I guess when I first moved to LA, I just saw it as such an amazing place for opportunity, for growth, for me to pursue my dreams. I didn't really know what I wanted to do at that point. Obviously, music was always in the back of my head. I always loved music growing up. I would perform when I was younger. I played guitar, I sang, and I did try out the music stuff a little bit out here in like 2018, 2019, 2020-ish. And it just didn't feel authentic to me anymore. I mean, I still love it. I felt like it wasn't me. Maybe it was because the music I was putting out wasn't me, the look wasn't me. And I think if I were to put music out now, it would be a completely different story. I think I really know who I am now and what I would want my sound to be and what I would want to look like as a performer, if that makes sense. So anyways, yeah. Music was always kind of in the back of my head, but I never really saw it as an option until I did gain some sort of fan base, and I was like, okay, yeah, let me try out the music stuff. This could be fun since this was always the bigger dream. But I mean, it all led me right here. And I guess, what was the other part of the question? What were your views, wants when you first moved to LA versus now? So I guess my views now on LA are very much the same. I still think it's an amazing place for opportunity and to grow as an individual. I think you just have to be really smart about it. You have to be really strategic. Like I said in my last episode, LA is a really easy place where you can come and it'll chew you up and spit you right back out where you started. And it almost did to me. I mean, I was lucky and fortunate enough that my friends were like, hey, we'll help you. But a lot of people don't succeed here. It's so hard. It's very expensive. The crowds here are hard to get with, especially now. I think when I moved out here, it was a little easier. I feel like the crowds kind of all meshed together. I think now it's very cliquey, which is interesting because I would think it wouldn't be as cliquey now. But yeah, I feel like back then it was a lot easier to kind of hang out with everyone. Everyone kind of knew each other. Now it's kind of like in sections, like you're just in your own little thing, you're in your own little space, and that's it. If you are someone that wants to pursue an artistry or you are a business-minded person, I think if you have a goal in mind and you think LA is the place that it can grow in and you can be successful here doing it, I mean, by all means, 1,010% come out here and pursue it. But I think you have to tell yourself that that is the goal and to not deviate from that. I think as long as you put your head down and you don't get caught up doing all of the sceney shit, the shit that will ruin your life, I'm telling you, you can be really successful out here. You can be an amazing entrepreneur, artist, whatever that may be. Chapel Rowan literally was on an interview I saw on TikTok. I don't know when it was, but she said that she was living in LA. This was before she blew up, became the iconic pop star that she is now. But she even said in an interview that she was living in LA and she had to move back home, I think to Wisconsin. Forgot where she's from. Yeah, she said she had to move back home because she couldn't afford it. And tons of artists do that because it's true. But I mean, she figured it out. You know, she kept doing what she was doing and look where she's at now. I mean, it's insane. So like I said, if you can get there with the discipline and the drive to do it, it's so worth it. And for my wants now, being out here in LA, I don't really know. I feel like I still want the same thing. I mean, okay, no. I feel like back then I wanted to just be able to survive, right? I just wanted to make enough money to afford rent and survive. So I guess, no, that's not true. But I do think my wants now are similar in the sense of I just want to be successful. I want to pursue my dreams. I want to make an impact. I think as I got older too, that idea of impacting people's lives grew more and more on me being on social media because of the waves I felt of what's the point of this? What's the purpose of having a platform? When I moved out here, I didn't have that. So I think now it's more like, what can I do with this platform to impact someone's life? What can I do to, I don't know, put out purposeful shit, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But I mean, yeah, now I want to focus on my podcast. Like I said, I still love makeup and hair and I still love doing all those things. And I would love to continue to work with makeup and fashion. If I'm able to work with a company, a really big beauty brand or a super cool fashion line or fashion brand, that's still very much a dream of mine. Music is a weird thing for me because obviously it's still a thought I have because that was my dream as a child. Like I would literally sit in front of my TV at home and watch reruns of Britney Spears over and over and over again. I would sing and dance. And when I was younger, I would perform and play guitar at carnivals and talent shows. And it was just always the dream to do music and to be a musician. So I think that dream will always be instilled in me but a part of me feels like it's not worth pursuing. And I don't want to make it a sad thing. And I'm not saying don't pursue your dreams, because that's the last thing I want to tell anyone to do. But I don't know. I think because I tried pursuing it, and it just felt like it wasn't worth it. Maybe it just wasn't worth it at the time. Maybe the timing was wrong for me to do music. And I don't know, maybe now or in the future it'll feel more right for me. But I think when I was doing it, it wasn't the love of my life anymore, is I think what I'm trying to say. I felt like I didn't love it. Like I saw firsthand people that loved music, like love it. It's like their whole world, love of their lives is music. They would die for music. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I remember thinking, I don't think I love it that much. So that's why I stepped away. I felt like I didn't love it as much as other people did. And it made me feel like maybe I shouldn't be pursuing this. I don't know. So I don't know if music is really a want that I'm seeking right now. But other than that, I think everything else is pretty much the same. I'm not really too much of a different person. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want now versus back then. I think I always wanted to be able to have my family out here, which is crazy because my parents do live out here now, which is such a blessing that I was able to bring them out here. And now they live only 20-30 minutes from me. So that was always a want when I moved out here or before moving out here, because I'm an only child. I really, really wanted my parents out here with me. And I was able to make that happen. So that was probably one of my biggest accomplishments / dreams. And my parents love it out here, which is even more amazing. You know, that was another fear of mine, was what if I move them across the country and they fucking hate it here? But that was a really big thing. I don't know. I'm just really grateful. This question really made me reflect on just how grateful and how far I've come as a person, being in this space, doing what I'm doing, and I've just kept pushing through it all. I'm not going to say it was all rainbows and sunshines. It was quite hard. And I know the internet perceives it as easy, whatever, but I don't know. It is hard coming from someone that was just like coming out here for school and work, and this was placed on my lap, and I'm so unbelievably grateful for it. But it was a hard journey to get here. You know, it was placed in my lap, but I feel like a lot of the times it can be placed in your lap, but if you don't work towards it, then, you know, it kind of disappears. I think you gotta want to go for it, and you want to push yourself to do better. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. What am I even saying at this point? Anyways, I think that's it. I think I kind of hit everything. I really, really love this question. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for you guys. I'm really grateful for the platform that I have, and I'm glad that I'm able to just talk about these things and be really vulnerable and just chill and not be that serious. It's funny because I remember when I first started doing social media, I was so anal about how I looked online, about what I would say, about this, about that, and just like trying to be like the most perfect, picture perfect person on the internet. And God, that's like so past me now. I mean, obviously, yeah, I want a good image, but I don't give a shit anymore. Like I'll talk about a lot of stuff now. I'm not trying to be this picture perfect image. And like I said, a lot of that comes with growth, but I'm very grateful for where I'm at. I'm very grateful for you guys. And thank you. Thank you for sticking with me since 2017. Gosh, 2017. I've been doing this for 7 years now, and I've been in LA for almost 10. So it's been quite some time. And to that, I'm taking my second glass. I mean, what? No, I'm taking my second sip of wine. I always forget to drink this because it's just, I don't know, when I'm in the zone and my brain's like going ding 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 ding, like I'm not thinking, wait, let me drink some wine. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to leave your questions down below. I have producers. I have people that are going to go through them, that do go through them, and they throw them in to the magical bowl behind me. And I'll keep answering questions off rip. And I'll keep trying to do my best with that. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.